When practicing the Wisp of Spirit, Xianxia knew that as long as he found a suitable carrier, he would inject Wisp of Spirit and use Wisp of Spirit to become an embodiment used to go to places inconvenient for the main body, or do things that the body is inconvenient to do. For example, Yang Yan is the embodiment of Great Emperor. The great demon god is only in the realm of Saint King, and with his genius and talents, he has realized the art of Wisp of Spirit and knows the secret art that the great emperor has mastered. It can be seen that he can become a generation of legends, which is not a waste of fame. The stone puppet has no intelligence, but has a sound body. Isn't this the most suitable carrier? Xianxia touched his chin and stared at the stone puppet, silently thinking. After a long time, he decided to give it a try. He didn't know if it was possible, but it was better than the golden stone puppet being in a state of incomplete spiritual wisdom. Ordering Xianxia to guard the law nearby, Xianxia sat cross-legged in front of the golden stone puppet. Spurred by the vast sea-like divine power, a gray shadow suddenly shot out of his mind. The shadow is a bit illusory and unstable, but if you look closely, you can find that the shadow is somewhat similar to Xianxia's outline. This is naturally the Wisp of Spirit that Xianxia has kept in the knowledge sea for many years. The Wisp of Spirit rushed straight into the mind of the stone puppet, and disappeared in an instant. High Heaven Sect, the Hall of Discussion, all the Void Return stage in the sect gather here, headed by the great elder Yixian. Changqi, Haoan, Jieqi, Ning Shangchen, Wu Yi and Qianyu as deacons in the sect, at this moment also in the hall. Not only that, but Qiantong and Fei Jitu are also here. The hall was quiet and silent, with a cup of tea in front of everyone. Disciples continue to come forward to replace the fragrant tea that has cooled down. Where did the sect master go? Why didn't you eye him for more than a month, and his subordinates ordered someone to investigate? He doesn't seem to be in the Heaven One Palace. Changqi looked at Yi Xian, and asked with some worry, Great Elder, do you know where the sect master is now? The other person is still in the sect, but this palace master doesn't know what he is up to. He seems to be practicing some secret technique. It is of great importance. This palace master does not dare to spy on it easily. Can only keep on waiting. Yi Xian replied lightly, with her strong cultivation bass. Naturally, she was aware of the abnormal movement from the mountain peak a few days ago, so she was able to determine Xianxia's location, but it was true that, as she said, since Xianxia was practicing some secret technique, she had no plans to spy. The sect master will always come back. He has already set a policy for this action before going. When discussing with this palace master feels that there is no problem. We will follow this action, and the sect will be left to Wu Yi and Qianyu to look after it. Yes. Wu Yi and Qianyu promised. In addition, Elder Huang Wan is breaking through in retreat. You should also take good care of it and don't let anyone disturb. And Yunair, that girl is too lively and active, and she may not be at peace with this palace master gone. Both of you should watch her and let her practice carefully. Great Elder, don't worry. Sister Qianyu and I will take care of everything in the sect, but everyone. You must return safely. Wu Yi said solemnly. Well, there is a battleship that the Lord has refined before. I think it shouldn't be difficult to attack this time. By the way, are the personnel and materials in the battleship properly arranged? Everything is in order. That's good. Yi Xian nodded slightly, then turned to look at Qiantong and Fei Jitu. The two juniors are also working together this time. Senior sister Yi is polite. Qiantong laughed. Old Fei and I were caught in a sneak attack from them last time. If Xianxia hadn't turned the tide and rescued the two of us, I'm afraid I would have been killed. This action, both of us are incumbent on it. Fei Jitu also nodded in agreement. How could he have fallen into such a situation if it weren't for the insidious and cunning people like Fang Peng and Ku Zheng? Not only is his hair gray, his cultivation level has also fallen by a level, and he hates it every time he thinks about it. And? Sect Master is here. Xian suddenly changed her expression and looked out of the temple. When other people heard the words, their expressions were shocked, and they all paid attention. Sure enough, after a moment, a rainbow light shot from there, and the light dissipated, revealing Xianxia's figure, with a slightly exhausted expression, but his eyes were full of radiance. Did the sect master encounter any good things? Xian seemed to find something. That's right. Xianxia nodded slightly, without explaining too much. His eyes swept across the hall, and he asked in a deep voice, "Everything is ready?" "Yes." "Then let's go." Xianxia smiled brilliantly. Everyone got up and went to the outsiders. On the square, the Void King grade battleship was already docked there. The door was wide open, and a group of people rushed in. After a while, accompanied by a buzzing sound, the battleship quickly galloped outwards like thunder and lightning. Going away, disappeared in the blink of an eye. Battle Sky City is a huge and majestic city, covering a very wide area. There are tens of millions of cultivators and shops in the city. This is the headquarters of Battle Sky Union. As one of the two giants of the Shadowed Star, the Battle Sky Union has a golden sign, which can naturally attract countless cultivators such as the Crucian Carp who cross the river to come to this city. Some hope to join the Battle Sky Union to become a part of it. Some are looking for opportunities here, and some are opening shops here or in St. Crystal. Battle Sky City is one of the largest cities on the Shadowed Star. This city has two layers, inner city and outer city. The outer city is the place where the Battle Sky Union communicates and contacts with the outside warriors. Various shops are also scattered here, while the inner city is only accessible to the disciples of the Battle Sky Union. The Battle Sky City stood on the Shadowed Star. It has not fallen for thousands of years, but has become more and more prosperous. This is inseparable from the strength of the Battle Sky Union. Every force has its ebb and flow, and the Battle Sky Union is no exception. Although its name is very big, it will always provoke some enemies. Over the past tens of thousands of years, Battle Sky City has also been attacked by some powerful enemies several times, but every time it can be saved. Even when the Battle Sky Union only has the weakest people and the strongest in the alliance is not available, it can still support it. The most dangerous one was the onslaught of ancient Yang sect thousands of years ago. At that time, in addition to the Battle Sky Union and Thunder Typhoon sect, there was also an ancient Yang sect on Shadowed Star who was on an equal footing with them, even more powerful than these two major forces. Don't know why, ancient Yang sect and Battle Sky Union had a friction, and finally met each other. At that time, Battle Sky Union was the weakest among the three forces, and there were not many strong ones, so they could only defend. Ancient Yang sect's elites all came out of the nest, and the soldiers approached the city, and the Battle Sky Union was in danger. However, after a big battle, although Battle Sky Union suffered heavy losses, it also kept it up and defended. Ancient Yang sect injured 1,000 enemies and suffered 800 damages. In desperation, it could only retreat. At that time, Battle Sky Union relied on 10,000 Cold Seal Spirit Big Formation in the inner city. Normal sects rarely set up the headquarters in the city, and most of them are selected in the lofty mountains. After all, the people in the city will divert the world's spiritual energy, which is not conducive to the cultivation of the disciples in the sect. But it is said that the reason why the Battle Sky Union set the headquarters in the Battle Sky City is because there is a condensed jade ice spring in the inner city, and the endless cold radiating from this condensed the 10,000 Cold Seal Spirit Big Formation. The mighty power of the formation is also deployed with this ice spring. After that war, 10,000 Cold Seal Spirit Big Formation became famous and known to the entire Shadowed Star. Later, ancient Yang sect defended Star Emperor Mountain and was destroyed overnight, and the ancient sect ruins became the now famous buried Mighty Valley. Xianxia and Yang Yan had been there once, and from there, Xianxia had obtained the two treasures of Sun's true essence and 10,000 years Ice Jadesk. The 5 elements indestructible sword chi was also obtained there. Without ancient Yang sect restraint, the Battle Sky Union can flourish, otherwise it is unknown whether there is a Battle Sky Union today. Originally, as one of the two giants of Shadowed Star, the superpowers have always been the sect forces by their side, looking at their faces and acting. But since 2 months ago, some rumors have spread in the city. It is said that the Battle Sky Union offended someone who shouldn't be offended, so it is in a bad situation now, like walking on thin ice. The news spread, and 9 out of 10 people sneered. Who can make the Battle Sky Union to be so careful? It would be nice if it doesn't trouble others. Who else dares to stroke the tiger's beard? Except for Star Emperor Mountain to make the Battle Sky Union, Soft Thunder Typhoon sect has no such ability. But everything is empty but the Battle Sky Union's subsequent ban on Battle Sky Union, and the measures that are to prevent entry, which have caused many people to speculate. Over the past countless years, when the Battle Sky Union has been strong, it has acted arrogantly and domineeringly. Many sect families who have been unwilling to attach to it have been destroyed. Many people doubt that. Could it be that Battle Sky Union offends Star Emperor Mountain? Is it going to follow in the footsteps of the ancient Yang sect? If that's the case, it's really good news. In any case, the atmosphere in the city today is indeed different from that of the past. There are Battle Sky Union disciples rushing everywhere. These people are actually buying all kinds of materials on a large scale, as if they are preparing for major events in advance. At this moment, there are 2 cultivators of First Order Void Return stage flying slowly over the city. Both of them are wearing the uniform of Battle Sky Union, but unlike ordinary disciples, the uniform is embroidered with a pattern of crossed swords. Looks quite murderous. Law enforcement. Battle Sky City is a big city. Naturally, there are law enforcement envoys patrolling and investigating the city. If anyone is found to disobey the rules and make troubles wantonly, they will be punished by law enforcement envoys. The serious ones take their lives, and the less serious ones punished with saint crystals. Therefore, the cultivator in Battle Sky City are very afraid of cultivators wearing this kind of uniform, and one will be spotted if they are not careful. At this moment, the 2 law enforcement officials both looked worried. Brother Huang, what are you saying about this? Since the last time the leader and the elder came back, they have issued some inexplicable instructions one after another, and now they are asking the disciples to purchase supplies frantically. Could it be that we have another war in the Battle Sky Union again? The short-haired man on the left asked suspiciously. To be continued? Brother Chu asked the wrong person. Just like you, Huang is a low-status law enforcement officer. How can Huang learn about things that Brother Chu doesn't know? The other middle-aged man on the right shook his head slowly. Answered with a smile. The short-haired man chuckled. Brother Huang is too modest. Although everyone is law enforcement, Brother Huang is different from Chu, and he is not halfway into the alliance. I have long heard that Brother Huang and Elder Mo are somewhat related. Brother Huang hasn't heard of anything yet? Hearing this, the middle-aged elder smiled proudly. Although Huang and Moda have some relationship, it is only marginal blood relatives. If the relationship is really close, Huang would have served as a deacon in the inner city a long time ago. Why come here? Be a law enforcement officer in the outer city, deal with these city merchants, and deal with trivial matters all day long. That being said, Brother Huang may have the opportunity to stay in the inner city for a long time. With Brother Huang's aptitude, as long as he stays in the inner city, he will definitely be promoted to the 2nd level within 3 to 5 years. It is really envious of Chu. One day, please Brother Huang not forget Chu and give him a little help. Naturally, it's okay. You and I have been in friendship for decades. If you are good for me, is it possible that you are missing? The half-old man laughed, and he seemed to be in a good mood. No one paid attention to himself. He couldn't help looking straight, lowered his voice and said, Brother Chu, although Ti Huang is not quite sure what happened in the alliance, but when I asked the great elder a few days ago, I accidentally heard him discussing matters with the Union Master. Seems to be related to the kid named Yongkai. Yongkai? The short-haired man frowned, faintly feeling that the name was familiar. After thinking about it carefully, his face was startled and said, "Is it the sect master of High Heaven sect?" "Yes. It is sect master High Heaven sect." The middle-aged man nodded slightly. "Yeah, it's nothing. Why the Union Master and the Elder talking about him? Could it be that this matter is related to him?" "Well, it seems that the last time the Union Master and the Elder took people out, it was to deal with him. It's a pity that the kid was as cunning as a fox, and he escaped. Before he left, the kid promised to retaliate against the Battle Sky Union. Really don't know how high the sky is." The short-haired man sneered. "That kid is just a junior, so he dared to say such a thing, really not knowing how to live or die." Hu Wang thinks so too. But even if he wants revenge, why are the Union Master and the Elders so busy? Could it be that the Battle Sky Union is afraid of him? "Don't take it lightly, Brother Chu," the middle-aged man said with a solemn expression. "That kid really doesn't have much ability. The left and right are just a void return stage, and they are equivalent to you and me. They have this cultivation level at a young age, showing their aptitude. It's not bad, but if we really fight him, either of you or me can kill him. But don't forget Brother Chu. High Heaven sect had a Void King grade battleship." Hearing this, the short-haired man looked terrified and nodded. "I have heard about this. It is said that the High Heaven sect does have such a battleship, but it is true or not, no one has confirmed. But even if there is a Void King grade battleship, so what? My Battle Sky Union is not a vegetarian either. He dared to drive the warship over. He also hit the stone with eggs, and the tens of thousands of elites in the Alliance will not let him go back." Haha, what Brother Chu said is true. It's just a battleship, and it seems that it's just a small battleship. It can't do much. The leader and the elder are too careful. The middle-aged man laughed with a disapproving look. With a smile, the voice suddenly subsided. "What's the matter?" The short-haired man looked at him suspiciously because he didn't understand. The middle-aged man did not answer. Instead, he looked towards the distant horizon and asked for a long time, "Brother Chu, look over there. Is there something approaching?" "Is there?" The short-haired man looked in the direction he was pointing, and he realized that there was a small black spot over there quickly approaching the Battle Sky Union. The black spots were originally inconspicuous, and they were too far apart to make it clear what they were. But soon, a vague outline was printed in the vision of the two. It was actually a long fusiform, dark, and deep warship. In the blink of an eye, the battleship had arrived 50 miles outside the Battle Sky City, and in another instant, it stopped outside the Battle Sky City. "Battleship!" the short-haired man and the middle-aged man exclaimed at the same time. An unsettling energy fluctuation came out of the battleship. Although it was not large, it was only 10 meters long, but facing this dark battleship, the two of them were like facing an unattainable peak, and the heart was inexplicably terrified. "Void King grade battleship!" the short-haired man exclaimed again. Could it be? Just now, he was also talking to his companions about High Heaven sect Void King grade battleship. Is this just the one in front of me? After all, with the entire Shadowed Star item refining technique, there has never been a Void King grade battleship, let alone a Void King grade. Even the Void grade middle rank battleship has never appeared. Then there is only one explanation. High Heaven sect really drove the battleship over to fight. The battleship, with a length of more than 10 feet, is the smallest, suspended in the sky of Battle Sky City. Compared with the huge city, it is completely different from the mud, but its arrival has caused the entire city to be turbulent. Countless eyes cast on that battleship, and countless people looked forward to it, wondering what this battleship was doing here. In the next moment, the answer will be revealed. A dazzling light suddenly flickered from the battleship and gradually brightened until it was as dazzling as the sun. And with the increase of this light, sensational energy fluctuations are also transmitted from there. Crystal cannon. The short-haired man and the middle-aged man looked dull. Under the pressure of that huge energy, their hands and feet were numb for a while. The Saint Yuan didn't work well, and they couldn't even move them. They can feel how huge the power contained in the crystal cannon is. Such an attack, not to mention hitting themselves, just wipe them, and they will immediately be destroyed. But no one would ever drive a warship to attack the headquarters of another force. The battleships on the Shadowed Star are inferior, only the Void grade low rank. Such battleships do not have strong protection, and they are huge. If they really use the battleships to fight against the sect forces, they will only become living targets and can't play much role. The effect will be destroyed in a short time. But today tens of millions of cultivators in Battle Sky City have witnessed this incredible thing. Actually, a battleship drove to the outside of Battle Sky City and used the crystal cannon, which seemed to be unfavorable to Battle Sky City. Just as everyone lost their minds, a bright beam of light blasted from the warship, silently, but it was ruined along the way, turning all blocked houses into powder, and even the void was shot out with traces visible to the naked eye. Booming. A moment later, the sound came from the inside of Battle Sky City, and the place where the crystal cannon passed along the road was cleared, and the violent energy was still chaotic, as if even the laws of heaven and earth could not repair the harm caused by the crystal cannon in a short time. There were no casualties, and a single shot of the crystal cannon only destroyed many buildings in Battle Sky City, obviously just a warning shot. Note: go to the inner city to report to the elders. The short-haired man and the middle-aged man were cold and screamed. They didn't dare to stay where they were anymore, and they rushed towards the inner city. The boasting and extravagant word that they said before was blew away. If they really had to face such a powerful enemy, they could only flee away. There was no need for them to remind them. When the crystal cannon strikes, the entire Battle Sky City was in chaos. Countless people rushed away in panic. Some people jumped and cursed with an angry expression. A sweet voice suddenly came from the place where the battleship was. The sound was not loud, but it was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears, and it was truly real. This is Palace Master Xianxia. As the Great Elder of the High Heaven Sect, I have been ordered by the Sect Master to inform everyone in Battle Sky City. My High Heaven Sect is sitting quietly in a corner of the world, without fighting and provoking anyone. But the Battle Sky Union is too cocky and tries to bring disadvantage to our sect. Therefore, we came today just to settle the grievances with the Battle Sky Union, and do not want to hurt the innocent. Please withdraw from the Battle Sky City within a quarter of an hour if you have nothing to do with this matter. After a quarter of an hour, my sect will attack the Battle Sky Union. Those who stay will be regarded as the enemy of this sect, and they will be killed without mercy. With one word, the whole city was in an uproar. Who is Xianxia? Basically nobody has heard of it. Except some Void Return stage martial artists who are older that know her strength, the rest have never heard of it. But no matter who she is, she actually wants to attack the Battle Sky Union, which is incredible enough. Is it easy to provoke the Battle Sky Union? Driving a small battleship, dare to fight against such a behemoth as Battle Sky City. Are the people in the High Heaven Sect all fools? Or is it just enough to eat? Such a thing is really laughable and ridiculous. Most people felt that High Heaven Sect was a little overwhelmed. But there were also well-informed people who knew the mystery of the High Heaven Sect and the tyranny of this battleship, and after a little hesitation, they didn't dare to stay in the city for a long time. They packed up their things and quickly withdrew out. No matter what kind of grievances High Heaven Sect and Battle Sky Union have, and no matter who loses and who wins in this battle, after the two sides fight, the fire at the gate of the city will affect the pond fish, and if they don't go now, they will be implicated in it. For a time, the Battle Sky City was extremely chaotic, and many cultivators galloped outwards. But most people still choose to stay. After all, packing things can't be done in a short while. Many of these people have opened shops in the city with huge supplies. How can they just leave? They also knew that the Battle Sky Union would definitely not sit back and watch this, ready to wait and see. If this High Heaven Sect is just an embroidered pillow and it doesn't look good, then there is no trouble. If it can really compete with the Battle Sky Union, it will not be too late to leave. It is true that the Battle Sky Union did not sit back and watch. High Heaven sect kicked its nose and insulted the sect front door. If the Battle Sky Union didn't say anything, wouldn't it be self-defeating to their prestige? When even more than a dozen rays of light rushed from the inner city, they arrived at the outer city in a short time and stopped 100 meters away from the battleship. To be continued.